Shalom. It's a C.O.S. ep3. Topic of discussion today is college. College being the educational industrial complex. First, I want to talk about college as being a criminal organization. We might as well talk about it, in the form which it is, which is just criminal at this point. The last 3 years that I've been attending the college institution, my tuition has went up 180%. And this is at the very same time that they've been stripping our resources, cutting our classes, firing teachers, and raising pretty much every service on campus that they had to previously offer. Not to mention the $1 billion budget cut that Governor Brown just implemented on the state of California, which pretty much solidified how they prioritize education in this country. For the fact that they cut education $1 billion, that is something that has never happened in the history of this country. Never has happened in the history of this country. So for us to look at education at this point, we need to look at education, especially college education, from a historic standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Because the $1 billion that they took out of education, your tuition is going to go up based on the fact that they're fronting you the bill. You know what I'm saying? They're cutting the money out and they're making you pay for all the services. The state of California is not paying for any of that anymore. So you're going to be having to reach some real, you're going to have to do some real soul searching, whether you're going to be sticking around, whether you feel like you can't educate yourself and you need to be going to somebody else and sitting in front of somebody else for an hour or 2 hours and just sit there and listen. And is that being educated? And I think that is the question. You know what I'm saying? Are we even getting a true education in these institutions? Okay? And another thing about college is just the traditional function is not there anymore. I mean, if you look at society as a whole, America hasn't had a surplus of jobs since 2001. There's not been a surplus in the creation of jobs since you can even look back at the Silicon Valley, just looking at the last real job market bubble that California has had, or the nation of America itself. Okay. So the traditional function of what college is supposed to do is no longer there. Okay, like 30 years ago, you were able to just go to college for 4 years. That was a privilege. You go to college and you have a professional job waiting on you when you get out, or something very similar. Today, that is no longer the fact. So the fact that people are still funneling themselves into these institutions, totally disregarding the traditional function of it, and how society is functioning as not even being progressive anymore, something we need to question. Something that we need to question. Because just the basic mathematics of the situation is, you're paying more and you're getting less. So as they're adding on to what you pay, they're subtracting what you get. That's basic mathematics. Why do you still pay more for that? I don't understand. But I was a part of it at one point. So I've also fallen victim to this education industrial complex, where they govern you mentally. And that is a fact. You will be governed mentally in the educational industrial complex. I also want to question the motive and the thought of the quote-unquote leaders of these institutions. And why is it that presidents and administrators of these institutions are getting paid substantially more than before, at the same time that students are suffering financial burdens unprecedented at any other time in American history? So I ask myself, is this all a part of a bigger plan for just to remove the disposable income from the middle class families and keep the masses at a certain level of intelligence? I ask myself that. And I seriously ask myself that. And I feel like we all need to do some soul searching on that. Because education in America isn't getting any better. And is not showing any signs of getting better. So that's something I feel like we need to question. Are we able to educate ourselves to a level of mastery? Or do we still need to go through a European perspective of what it means to be educated? A Western philosophy of what education is? I feel like it's time for us to evolve out of that thought process and become conscious of self and move forward and create society. And I feel like that is what we need for our generation to be self-sustainable past the downfall of capitalism. We must first soul search and see if we are even able to move further into the future. Because the future is there for those who prepare for it. Peace and love and prosperity.